we're going. I think the plan is to record this, and I'll post it for the guys that aren't here, because there's like 10 of us. If I can make this tinier. Maybe.
We should do for one class. Go to Denny's.
Why?
It's also super cold.
It's also like Denny's. It's yeah. All right.
It's okay.
So last class, so you guys can see all this correctly. 4.4. We taught you guys boots and hats. Trees have roots and a neck. Okay. Basically, the only thing I really wanted you guys to remember about that is if you have any number, so x to the power of a fraction, m over n. When we convert this back into our root, it's going to be basically your number, x, is underneath your root. It is to the power of whatever at the bottom of your fraction. So in our case, it's the nth root, and it's to the power of m. Sometimes in your textbook, it'll be written as like the nth root of x, and the whole thing is to the power of m. This is the same thing. It doesn't matter which one you do. With that knowledge in our mind, now we actually start getting into evaluating. When you evaluate fractional roots, you basically want to get things in their simplest terms, i.e. convert it into its root form. If you can simplify, it makes your life easier to simplify it. And if you can simplify the power, that will help too. And then you basically just solve the equation. So I think I gave you guys the example before we left, 36 to the power of a half. Was it this one or was it 27? It might have been 27. Anyways, 36 to the power of 1/2. Basically what you do is first thing is you always convert it to a root, okay? So it's some sort of root of 36.
I don't think you said that roots were lies.
They are.
Why are we converting to a root?
Because in grade 10, it is simpler to evaluate it still as a root than it is to use it as a fraction. You'll get there. So,
Roots are lies.
36 to the power of 1/2. This is the same thing as the square root of 36. Technically, it's to the power of 1, but 36 to the power of 1 is just 36. So what is the power of, what's the square root of 36? 6. That's all there is to it. The reason why it's so important is since we actually get into your exponent laws. As a fraction, it makes life much easier than it is as a root. We did the 27 to the power of 1/3 on Friday. Let's do one that's a bit trickier. Let's go 27 to the power of 2/3. And I'll actually give you guys time to try it yourself, please. When I figure out how to pause the video.
You did it before.
I did it before. I think it's this one. But you didn't have the right way of doing it. All right, so first thing you do is you write this. You say the cubic root of 27 squared. Now you could go 27 squared first. I wouldn't recommend that. It would make your life a little bit trickier. What I would instead do is convert this into our, cubic root of 27, and then whatever that is, we square that. Because the cubic root of 27
Is 3.
is 3,
Not 9. 3.
and then 3 squared would give us 9.
Think of 9 divided by 3.
Next step is to make it a bit harder. So what we're going to do is we're going to go 27 over 8 to the power of 2/3,
What?
right? Now, if you remember back to your exponent laws, which if you forget, we're actually going to review them tomorrow. That's 4.5, where we pretty much give you all the exponent laws plus the new ones you learned. So, what this is really written as, this is really the same thing as 27 over 8 to the power of 2/3, which means basically if you have this exponent up here, that exponent is distributed into your division. So you're going to have 27 to the power of 2/3 divided by 8 to the power of 2/3.
So we have what we have is
We already know the first one, but you should still show me how to do it because it's good practice. Anyways, take about, I don't know.
So are we doing this now?
Yeah, do it. You got about a minute. I'll give you a minute to do it. Try it out first. Basically, what we do now, I'll zoom in a bit better. We already know 27 to the power 2/3 converts into 27 squared. We now have the cubic root of 8, and this is also squared. Cubic root of 27 is 3 squared. The cubic root of 8 is what?
2
2.
squared.
2 squared. So 3 squared would be 9. 2 squared would be 4. And we can't really simplify that anymore. We already can, although they cannot see it on the camera. Alrighty. The next step from this is just making it harder. Let's do this. I want you guys to go 0.25 to the power of 1/2.
So what's half of that? Is it?
And I'll give you guys, I don't know, 30 seconds. The key here is what's 0.25 as a fraction. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Turn it back into a fraction and then go. So, there's 2 ways to approach this. If you have a calculator, the only problem with doing it with the calculator is you just plug it all in. But really, if you kept it as a decimal, you went 0.25. We were taking the square root of this.
5.
If you punch it in, it equals 0.5. We know that, but why does it work out? Because technically 0.25 is the fraction 1/4 to the power of 1/2, which would then turn into 1 to the power of 1/2 over 4 to the power of 1/2.
What's it turn into?
Hang on, so we take 1, square root of 1 to the power of 1 over the square root of 4 to the power of 1. Square root of 1 is just 1, 1 squared is 1. The square root of 4 is 2, and 2 to the power of 1 is 1. And 1/2 is 0.5. So that's how we know it works. So, next we're going to start with -8. Can't see. -8 to the power of 1/3.
Can you pause the video so you
-8 to the power of 1/3, because we are recording. So, this is the cubic root of -8 to the power of 1. The cubic root of -8 is -2 to the power of -1 is still -2. The last question that will take us, shouldn't take too long. We're going to go 16 over 81. All of this to the power of 1/4. I want you guys to simplify and evaluate it, please.
Do we have to try it?
Yes. It should take you, I will say 2 minutes. All right, so, again, boots and hats, everyone remember that we're basically taking the 4th root of 16 to the power of 1 over top of the 4th root of 81, also to the power of 1. The 4th root of 16 is actually 2. Because 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And the 4th root of 81, you probably don't know this, but it should be 3. Both those to the power of 1 still gives you 2 over 3. Your homework for this is on page 227. 3AB, 5 to 8 AB, 10 to 12, that was quite a few of these, ACE, ACE, and 16A.
Why?
Why not?
Okay.
Yeah, these first ones will take you like nothing at all.